Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contracts, services month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today I have Kemph on the line, and he's President and CEO over at Blackfin Group. Keith, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Adam. Appreciate it.
So, Keith, excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about execution. It's all about execution. We all have ideas, but how do we execute? So I'm pumped to get into this topic with you because you're the guy I want on the line talking about that. But before we get into too far down the line on that topic, let's just start with an overview of what you're doing over at Blackfin Group. Tell us a little bit more about your company, please.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks so much again, Adam. So Blackfin Group is a management consulting firm. We really specialize in the execution of business and technology projects. Our clients range from firms like MetLife to community banks to software firms. So it's really our focus is to step in wherever a company is at with a particular project, whether it's a strategy or business technology project, and help them execute.
Fantastic. And I think that's a great transition. So let's just dive right into today's topic. So execution, again, many great ideas out there, but how do we get it from idea to end stage, and whether it's product or wherever you're at on the funnel? Where do you want to start with this topic? Because you're living this and breathing this day in and day out.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it really boils down to it's 3 simple things. I mean, I get tired, I don't know about you, but I get tired of hearing people talk. At some point in the course of my career, I realized it's all about execution, because if you're not executing, nothing matters. And so we've got to remove the noise in our life. And so, and way to do that is to really have 3 particular things that you're focused on to ensure successful execution. First and foremost is defining what your objective is as an organization, as an individual, as a committee, as a group, as a department. Doesn't matter. What's the objective that we're trying to accomplish? And then secondly, most important is to design a plan and have that plan that basically backs up how to accomplish your objective. It'll be much easier for everybody to manage emotions, manage strategies, manage tasks of what people need to do. And then last and most importantly is to remove the fear and focus on executing. Because everybody gets stumbled up on around this fear factor. What if I make a mistake? What if we don't do anything? Well, people should think about that in other terms, such as you should be fearful of, if you don't act, what the results will be. So it all boils down to execution, just having a clear path on how you're going to get from objective through execution, and being very detailed in your plan in the middle there.
So I noticed the answer to this question is going to vary. It's going to vary based on size of company. It's going to vary on product. It's going to vary on founders, the leaders involved. But I do know, and in doing this as long as you have in this space, that certain themes tend to arise. Where do you find that, in general, a lot of people fall short on their execution, and it's kind of one of those things that once you get into that organization, you're like, oh, I kind of figured it was one of these. What are some of those general themes?
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate your asking that, Adam, because I really do specialize in understanding why projects fail. The Project Management Institute is a worldwide, world-known administration that really polices and issues the policies and procedures for how to effectively manage projects. They continually find year over year, 70% of all business and technology projects worldwide fail. That trillions of dollars are wasted. And so as I went back and really started to analyze more of why projects are failing, it all came down to one thing. It's not the technology. It's not necessarily the strategy. It comes down to the people. That's the biggest issue. People aren't collaborating. They aren't communicating. There isn't a good and efficient and effective project plan. They aren't working together to identify what are going to be some of the who are the stakeholders that have an interest in this. They're not identifying what are the key pillars of this particular project and the objectives that we're trying to accomplish. And since everybody's scattered on that, people start to go heads down and start to really focus on what do I need to do. And if they don't know what they need to do because people aren't communicating, then it isn't long before that is exposed and there's holes in the project and failures start to creep up. Those are some of those common themes when it comes to project failures.
I see that, and I'll pick on myself. I mean, I've been there, I've done that, I've done all the things that you said above. I've made those mistakes, and I do want to spend a little bit of time on that third one that you mentioned to us about removing the fear. I mean, that's easier said than done, Keith. Like, what's the secret sauce there? I know there's only so much we could do in a 15-minute podcast episode, but what's the secret sauce to this fear part, man? Because that's hard. You're down the line, you're seeing the project, and you have that oh crap moment of this. We need some help.
Yeah, it gets real when you're about to stroke a check as a company for $1.5 million or $1 million or $750,000 to say we're committed to doing this project. What people should be most fearful of to motivate them off that fear point, what they should be motivated by is what can we become as a result of this journey. That's what they need. They need to look at the forest through the trees. They need to take a bigger, long-term, more holistic approach and viewpoint of the organization. Now, not to say that because you designed a plan and you've got that nice and tight and you've got a lot of good people with good input, that when you get to the execution and stepping out of the boat and just moving forward and plowing forward and seeing what happens, doesn't mean that the design of the plan won't change. There'll be little changes here and there, and that's okay. You'll learn something as you're going down one particular road and to make a change in your plan. That's okay. Get over the fear by realizing if you stand still, you're making a worse decision than if you make the decision to step out of the boat and move forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great advice, and hopefully that hearing your words gave some people that are maybe in that situation right now a little bit of strength and or perspective on maybe some things that they could be possibly going through at this moment in time. So, Keith, that being said, if somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more, they want to connect with you and your team, and they want to, final question, two-part question. They want to connect with you and your team. I want to make sure that the right types of individuals, you mentioned in the beginning of the call some of the types of companies you work with, but are there any particular industry sectors, the size of company matter? I mean, I want to make sure that the right individuals and organizations connect with you so they can, make some progress on their projects. So what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, and what are the right types of individuals and organizations that are usually a good fit for your company?
Yeah, sure thing. So we specialize in financial services, which be banks, community banks, regional banks, credit unions, insurance companies, mortgage companies. Well, those are some of our primary, targets or primary clients. We receive calls from charities, from air conditioning companies. They're all looking for help. And quite frankly, a lot of the models, a lot of the frameworks, a lot of strategies that we employ, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. They can all be used and leveraged to help ensure project success. So while we specialize in financial services, if you're having a challenge or issue with a project and you're really struggling with getting out of the boat or executing or designing, give us a call. We'd be happy to have a conversation and take it from there. And the best way to get a hold of us to reach us is to simply go to our website, which is www.blackfin.group.com, or they can email us at info@blackfin-group.com. And lastly, they can follow us on LinkedIn. Just as simple as that.
Fantastic. And Keith, I know some of the people that want to follow up, they're busy getting their pen or pencil or pad or tablet or whatever people write on nowadays. What's that website one more time? I want to make sure that people connect with you.
Yeah, sure thing. It's www.blackfin, one word, blackfin-group, group.com.
Fantastic. Well, Keith, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and those simple 3 steps that you make sound so simple, but we all know it's not simple. So I want you to go check out, go connect with Keith so he can help walk you through and work with you and your team in getting through those steps so that your projects come out the way you want them to. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Keith, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adam.